It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
Yo, what's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me, as always, my buddy, my co-host, my pal, the man with the plan, the one and only, John Meleka. But before we ask John how he's doing today, guys, we got to do a little housekeeping. If you listen to this podcast on any audio listening platform, please make sure to subscribe. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. We're also, if you listen to this podcast on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave a comment. That just helps us out. We're also on YouTube. Make sure to type in Knicks, Jets, etc. period. Find the page, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And when you watch a video, hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want to say. How do you want to interact with us? How do you want to add to the conversation? We appreciate it. We'll interact with you guys. We love it all.
Free Obi.
Top of that, we got another free Obi. Hashtag Obi Avengers. All right, you know what it is. Also, we got another podcast over there. Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, usually go down the NFL slate. Sometimes they'll do some NBA action. Now they're doing March Madness. I just heard they had our boy Chip Murphy on for another episode to break down the college basketball games yet again. So you know what that means. You got to go,
baby.
Sweet 16. So you know what that means. You got to go check it out, get their takes, get your bets in, money line, spreads, overs, unders, you name it. They got you covered. Make sure to go listen. We're also on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We are there. All right, now let's get into the business. John, how you doing today, man? Green and white, another day of free agency, another day closer to the draft. But how are you doing today? What's going on in your world?
What's up, man? I mean, dude, I did not expect today to go how it went, right? I was at the Hawks-Knicks game last night. That was a fun time, talking trash with the Trae Young fan behind me. I feel like for some reason they always put me next to the opposing team, and we have a great time, with banter. I was, screaming at each other all game. It was fun. But, I felt like the season was over, and now I was feeling like free agency was kind of over for the Jets. So I was just expecting, just to start prepping up for March Madness. And then, of course, Alex, this morning, Adam Schefter gives us with the Schefter bomb. All of a sudden, Tyreek Hill has to choose between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins on a Wednesday afternoon where he's going to go. I mean, absolutely wild. Took us all for a storm. We'll get into all of it, but man, the way that this Jets offseason is finally starting to materialize, the way that this Knicks season is coming to a close, I'm feeling really optimistic right now, man, in my brain. So I'm feeling good right now, man. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Just got off of Knicks post game for Knicks Fan TV. Gave my shtick about how we should keep Tom Thibodeau and move on from Julius Randle, and how we can't free Obi. How had the whole spiel on how we need to fire Tom Thibodeau and it's all his fault. No blame should be. We can't, I shouldn't say no blame, but we can't really tie the blame of the front office to Tom Thibodeau for this production, which I just don't know how you could do that. They go hand in hand, but we're not going to get into that today, man. We're not going to get into that today. But I'm doing all right, man. Knicks got a win. They beat the Charlotte Hornets in convincing fashion with the young crew. I love it. You'll love to see it. RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, our guy. Yo, man, he was out there hooping, man. He was out there hooping today.
Shout out to Knicks Fan TV, man. Go check out that post game that Alex was on. Definitely check out the articles. It's gonna be coming in hot the next couple of weeks. And we have, as we mentioned, our Winning Picks Weekly. We'll mention it here too. We got some pretty big guests coming up for both the Knicks and the Jets. So definitely stay tuned to both of those. And we got the resident editor here of Knicks Fan TV, Mr. Tratacaster himself. So definitely go support our boy CP over there.
That's a fact.
Dude, don't look now, but the next 6 games for the Hornets are ridiculously difficult. One of them includes the Knicks, and the next 6 games for the Knicks are looking okay. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Friday don't look okay, but okay.
I don't know. Friday, those
Miami
Miami
Heat?
Heat were fighting. They were fighting today. Did you see
And
it?
you know what that means? You know how that turns around. That means they're gonna get some energy out, and that's how they feel too. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
I've never seen a coach throw a clipboard at his player, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get to that. We have JD coming on the next episode, so definitely check into all that. We know you're here for the Jets talk, and there is so much to talk about regarding the New York Jets. Before we get into Tyreek Hill, let's wrap up this free agency, man. First of all, we got the whole entire quarterback room coming back, and Mike White's hyped about it, right? So the trade
Hall of
makes
Famer,
sense.
baby. Hall of Famers back in the building.
Getting a couple milli, Getting a couple milli to come back. I like it.
Yes, sir.
He's with Joe Flacco. That I guess that 6th round pick trade makes sense, right? At least we're keeping him to be that veteran room presence. Zach Wilson looking okay. I like it, man. And of course, we mentioned the first episode of free agency here. Laken Tomlinson. The guards are all set. It looks like the tackles are all set with Becton and Font. And Joe D likes McGovern, dude. So it looks like the O-line's all set. The quarterback room's all set. And the tight end room, we know, is all set now with CJ Uzomah and Tyler Conklin, right? So maybe we'll add another guy there. I mean, it's starting to come together. The wide receiver room did not change. We definitely re-signed Braxton Berrios. We talked about that. We talked to Eroff about that. Brought back Tevin Coleman. Brought back Nick Bowden. We also brought back our favorite offensive lineman / tight end, Connor McDermott, along with Mr. Dan Feeney, the mullet man himself. So that was kind of what we did on the offense there. And dude, it wasn't done. As we mentioned, I can't wait. I can't wait any longer, dude. I can't wait any longer. The number one thing that we noticed with the deals in this offseason where they were all back channeled, right? Sort of like the way the Chiefs did it with the Mahomes contract. And they're reaping their negatives of it now, right? Where Mahomes is getting $3 million and $4 million and $5 million the first couple of years, and now his cap hit's going to be $45 million the next 2 years, right? And so they couldn't pay Tyreek Hill, they can't pay the Honey Badger, and you see where their problems lie. On the other hand, the Jets are doing that with their free agents this year. They're pushing all their money 2 years ahead to kind of when Zach Wilson is going to have to start getting paid, which is very interesting to me. And it's interesting because they're opening up the books for the next 2 years. And you know what's interesting, man? This is when Joe Douglas is going to get judged on the Jets. He's going to get judged on the next 2 years. So he's like, dude, I don't care what goes on in year 4 or 5 with the cap. Like, let's just move it. I'm going to see what I can do. The Jets have the lowest dead cap money in the league this year. We still have $7 million coming off the books. And it's no longer the quote unquote I'm inquiring Jets. It's the our hand is we're going all in on the chip table, right? We inquired about Amari Cooper, but the Dallas Cowboys didn't care for making us have a contingency on the extension, right? And we didn't want to take $20 million on the books for Cooper this year, so we were out of that trade, right? We've been inquiring about the Seahawks wide receivers. All right, we'll see what happens there. We inquired about Ridley from Atlanta, then he got suspended for the year for gambling. Okay, so we're all in here, right? I'm sure that Michael Thomas is on this list, right? I'm sure he's on the back of their mind. But what we definitely know, Alex, is the cheetah. Mr. Tyreek Hill was on the books today to go to either the Jets or the Giants. The Jets offered the 35, the 38, and the 69. Sorry, Mr. Connor Hughes. But they did offer the 69th pick. And they would have got back Tyreek Hill and the 103rd pick. And because the deal was contingent on an extension, it was basically a no trade clause for Tyreek Hill, where he got to choose either go to Miami with the no state income tax for their home games and their bonuses, or ride out with the Jets, pay more taxes, and actually have a quarterback rather than Tua Tagovailoa. So that was what was left. Jets Nation is up in arms. We're upset that Tyreek Hill chose them, but I need to hear from Alex. I need to hear from the Tratacaster, man. How do you feel about Joe Douglas moving these contracts? How do you feel about the Tyreek Hill news today about the Jets going up in arms, Jets Nation going up in arms because Hill chose the Dolphins, which it's crazy that it went from, okay, it's one thing to not get him, but it's another thing to now we're going to have to play him 2 times a year along with Waddle. I mean, those are 2 pretty big wide receivers. It might even affect the way we draft, dude. What do you think about this whole situation so far?
Well, I'm not too worried about it because even I don't think Tua is that good. I haven't seen Tua really connect on the deep ball like that. Like he can, well, Tyreek Hill is going to be open deep down the field, but can Tua connect? Probably not. So the weapon is only as good as your quarterback. I mean, we've seen Brandon Marshall down in Miami. We've seen who is it? Steelers wide receiver, Mike Wallace down there in Miami.
Man. Throwback.
We've seen all these guys down there who can run fast, who can get down the field very quickly and be wide open. But we've also seen quarterbacks that can never get them the ball and what was their careers like. So it doesn't mean anything to see it. The wide receiver is only as good as the quarterback. So I'm not really too scared.
72 million guaranteed, bro. Crazy.
It's crazy. It's one thing when you have Tyreek Hill with Patrick Mahomes. That's a cheat code. That is a legitimate cheat code. Tyreek Hill would lost. It's still a cheat code. They may have lost the Super Bowl. It's still not the Super Bowl. What am I talking about? They may have lost they did lose the Super Bowl.
They did lose the Super Bowl. They also lost last
year.
The
Super Bowl. But I'm just thinking about what was it, championship round.
Yeah.
But even so, like you watch those guys play and it's electric the way Patrick Mahomes can just find him anywhere on the field, and the way you have Andy Reid with his play design to get Tyreek Hill open. Those are things that it's not necessarily going to happen in Miami, so it's not Brian Flores down there, new head coach, unproven, Tua still unproven. Now, don't get me wrong, Miami's got some weapons down there outside of the quarterback, but I'm not terrified. It's just, it is what it is. What I do like though, is that Joe Douglas is willing to go all in to help his quarterback. Finally. And we say finally, but he had 1 year with Darnold. He didn't know if he wanted to keep him. First year with Zach Wilson. It's a rookie. Why do you want to necessarily overspend on a rookie? But now it's your second year quarterback. You can feel the pressure of you need wins now. You need some wins. So the fact that he's being aggressive and trying to trade for guys like Tyreek Hill, you hear talks about DK Metcalf, as you mentioned, Calvin Ridley.
Rumors.
They're rumors, but you hear them though. Like there's
at least the Ridley stuff is real. The Hill stuff is real. The Chandler Jones stuff was real.
Amari Cooper.
Right? Amari Cooper was real.
Look, there's some smoke. When there's smoke, there's fire to some of these things. And the fact that we see Tyreek Hill, I'm pretty confident I could say that he has been reaching out about all these other wide receivers because he's looking to add talent to help his quarterback. We look at it right now. It's Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios. Those are your top 3 wide receivers that you have on this team. I love Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is going to be a top talent. I've said that before. I'm going to stick to it.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at the other guys, Corey Davis, injured, was inconsistent this season. Braxton Berrios, he's going to be a good slot receiver. You need more talent, man. Like we're seeing the NFL change once again. It went from being a run-heavy bell cow league, right, where it was the Curtis Martins, where it was where was the Jamal Lewis's, what it was the Priest Holmes, who were just like badgering it
I like
down,
it.
like just going up and down the middle, right? You gave it to them 20, 30 times a game because those were going to be the guys. Then we started to see the slow shift saying, nah, it's quarterbacks. We want your running backs to be involved. We want them to be coming out of the backfield, but we also want to see your wide receivers do it. We like the Antonio Browns. We like all these guys that we have. We have fantasy football that needs some action too. And now it's really getting to the point where it's not two wide receivers, a tight end, and a running back. It's now moving from it's not even just 3 wide receiver set standards. It looks like it's moving to 4 wide receiver set standards. And that's something that Michael Ford likes to run too, right? As you pointed out in your article before, this is the type of system that Michael Ford likes to run, having 4 wide receivers out, a lot of
And the
short
double
routes,
tight end, bro.
double tight ends. He likes to go he's all about it when it comes to his pass catchers. So it makes sense that he's looking for a legitimate number 1 option, right? You don't want to necessarily put that burden on Elijah Moore to be that number 1 option right now. But if he could be the 2, Corey Davis could be your 3. You have someone like Tyreek Hill, even though it's not him. You have Mark Cooper, somebody else, any one of these names. It just makes your team that much more lethal in the passing game and much more respectable. And it gives us better clarity on our quarterback too. Not only does it help him, but it also helps us evaluate, okay, what are you like with actual talent on this team? But I like what I see from Joe Douglas right now. I like that he's being aggressive. This is now the time to be aggressive, but not aggressive where it's stupid, right? He didn't need to overpay for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is not worth a first rounder, multiple first rounders, anything like that. But you want to be aggressive enough where you're getting top end talent in here, but you're not breaking the bank because you still want to use some of that for down the line in case you get someone that you really, really love who matches everything that you want, whether it's character, play style, all those things. And then you can cash in and say, we're ready, And the first round picks, that's what Seattle did. I know I'm going on a rant right now. That's what Seattle did. They thought they had to figure it out when they traded the first round picks to us. Be like, the last thing we need is a strong safety to really take us to the Super Bowl. How's that? That's when you move chips in like that. You move first rounders and you're like, we're a piece away. We're not looking to rebuild anytime soon. This pick is worthless. Let's move our chips in, do it. First, we got 1-2 year, max 3-year window, max. We got to see what we got right now. We're not there yet, but I like the way Joe Douglas has been working.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. And everyone was, we had those, 2 hours of waiting for Tyreek Hill to choose. And during that time, of course, everyone's blowing up our social media on Twitter, our group chats, everyone's going nuts. And I was just like, hey man, if we can even just trade, one piece of that Jamal Adams trade and one piece of the Darnold trade, right? The first and the second, I'd be happy. It turned out to be even less than that. So I'm with you, man. I'm totally with you. I'm really happy that we're not spending $75 million guaranteed on him. And I totally understand why he would want that from Florida, even though there's a jock tax, but at least he would be getting most of it in Florida. That's why they get the bonuses there too. Just to round out what I'm hoping for to close out this offense from Joe Douglas, I hope we re-sign Keelan Cole. I hope we re-sign Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, right? As long as he's willing to accept the backup guard role. And if we're gonna throw out dream scenarios, and I would love to hear your comments on this, Alex, and if you're listening on the show, please comment, wherever you listen, if it's through our Twitter, if it's through our YouTube, any of these guys, let me know what you think, right? We could either go Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver from the Steelers, who's also looking for a deal really similar to Tyreek Hill, type of player. Yeah, he did have some drops, but he was also playing with Big Ben. He's looking for that extension, right? Or we can go the other way, where if we have a bunch of money on our books this year, we can go get a Christian McCaffrey, right? For a late pick, because it's not going to cost anything because how much money he is on the books. And you can kind of have that, that guy catching out of your backfield. You could also go one of the wide receivers from Seattle, like you mentioned, DK. But the more likely guy, honestly, is Tyler Lockett. And I think Lockett would be sick in this offense, to be quite honest with you. It would be like a Javon Curse up in here. It would be nice. It wouldn't be that, number 1, but we'd have a
Javon Curse.
We'd have a we'd have a 1A and a 1B. with Davis and Lockett going down here, or Mr. Disgruntled Michael Thomas, right? Sean Payton's finally gone, right? We've been inquiring about Michael Thomas for a couple of years now, it feels like. So any before we head out and finish up with this offense here, any of those names? I saw you making some faces. Or if I didn't mention any too.
Think about Deontay Johnson. Like he played really well this season, even for a bad Steelers team. Was 1,000-yard receiver. I think he had 1,161 yards receiving, had 169 targets, caught 107 of them. So that's a 63.3% catch percentage that he's got. He's a good wide receiver, man. I like him. I guess, yeah, I'd be intrigued in him. He's a one-time Pro Bowler, very young, but now you're talking about another 5'10" wide receiver on the team next to Elijah Moore. I don't know if you necessarily want another small wide receiver.
I don't even know if he's a
but there's a difference. There's a difference with Tyreek Hill. There's elite speed we're talking about.
I know
that's elite speed.
But like before we move off of DJ, if you would have put DJ with Mahomes and Hill with the Steelers, I think that DJ could be more comparable to Tyreek's numbers, and Hill's numbers will be way lower than DJ's. You know what I'm trying to say?
I hear what you're saying. My thing is that it still comes back down to the elite speed, which is Tyreek Hill. Like that is just a cheat. No that's why I'm saying when you talk about Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, we're talking about one of the most lethal arms when it comes to the passing game, matched with one of the most elite speeds in the receiving game. It's just that's legitimately 99 on Madden, arcade-esque. That's where it just becomes bonkers. So Deontay Johnson, I'm not against it. I like him. I think he's a solid option. Just comes down to cost.
It costs a couple draft picks and an extension.
Yeah.
You're not feeling too great.
Is he that type of guy? I'm not. It's like he's good. This is where I think it's like he's good. I just feel like it's redundant next to Elijah Moore. It's not saying that we haven't seen this before. It's not like we haven't seen Antonio Brown and Emmanuel Sanders on the same team before. You know what I mean?
I would agree with you.
It's happened.
I would agree with you.
It's happened.
The only thing, man, is I just have to what I see. I have to take what I see and kind of like understand it. And if they were gonna take Hill, then they're okay with that. Because I agree with you. Like, sure. If you're asking me, do I want to add Tyreek Hill and Elijah Moore? I'm gonna tell you no. Like straight, it just in a vacuum world, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't add those two together. But the fact that LaFleur was okay with it makes me okay with it. You know what I'm trying to say? And now
I hear you.
That we're starting to see that they have, and we always knew that they like yards after catch. You can even from the first, article I ever wrote when LaFleur joined them, right? We know that they like Yak, but now we really know what they want in the tight end. We really know what they want in a wide receiver. They are literally looking for a wide receiver with the yards after catch. I don't think they care. He could be 4.5 at this point. I don't think they care. Right? They give you 6'8", they give you 4.5. As long as he gets Yak, they want him.
Shout out to the Jets IG account for sharing some CJ Uzomah highlights where he's just bullying after the catch for touchdowns.
Dude,
back
he's a
in
beast. He
jersey.
Literally looks like oh my god, slipping my mind. Who's the big bad guy from Avengers with the rings? Oh my god,
Thanos.
Yeah, dude, he looks like Thanos. Straight up. I feel like he's gonna kill everyone, dude. He's a man.
Snap of the finger.
I can't wait.
Be careful with that snap of the finger. That snap of the finger may be him getting injured. I hope not.
Oh, whoa.
Hey, I'm just being called to what it is, man. That's what his career's been.
All right, give me your final thoughts on the offense here with C-Mac, the wide receivers from Seattle.
No, do not mention them. Stop with I like C-Mac as a player.
Okay.
I come back to the whole running back theory.
I know, but it's going to cost us nothing, and it's just money on the books this year.
If it costs us nothing, that's one thing. If it's cost us nothing, that's one thing.
It's a late draft pick, and we have the money to kind of just like eat the money for this year, and it's not going to really affect us for re-signing anyone.
I mean, here's the thing: when you're going with we go with Christian McCaffrey. I'm not expecting to go Super Bowl with him. I think it's just a good grow. Like he's a good player to help Zach Wilson grow as a quarterback. It'll be competitive if you have him, but I don't see it that far. This is where I say I like him, but he's not someone that I think of as moving the needle. I always think of running back as like the last position to take care of. That's why I always, don't matter how whether it's draft, free agency, trades, they are the last, absolutely last guy you need.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So what about the wide receivers from Seattle, real quick, and Michael Thomas?
Yo, Tyler, either one of them, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with either one of them. Tyler Lockett is we're talking about we're talking about a guy who's got good speed, gets down the field. That's what we need.
And he's cheaper. And we don't have to sign him.
If we get DK Metcalf, that would be insane.
Too much, bro. And also Seattle has to sign him. Why wouldn't they re-sign him? The draft pick, it's gonna be cheap.
Because they paid a strong safety.
Yeah, exactly. They can make this a nice friendly deal. They gotta get rid of Lockett though. He's a veteran. They gotta get rid of him. You know what I mean?
I think Tyler Lockett's more. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Tyler Lockett's the more likely option to get traded.
All right, last trade, Thomas. Michael Thomas.
No.
Oh man. Okay, because he's been out. I'm kind of intrigued by the Michael Thomas thing. Okay, last one.
He has to be. He has to be super cheap for who he is to get Michael Thomas in this building. Also, like that's more like it's just high profile wide receivers coming off of missing a season is like a massive red flag for me.
I feel you.
Massive red flag for me. I cannot do it. Can't do it. Cannot do it.
What about Will Fuller? Another guy who likes to miss games.
Jeez, we're going back to stop it. All right, keep this train moving. We're not doing this train again.
We can do it 1 year. We can do it 1 year, Will Fuller.
You keep asking me the same thing. It's gonna be the same answer. No, I'm not paying a guy who's gonna who's gonna play 3/4 of the season, and then I'm gonna be asking, hey, anyone see Will Fuller around here? Anyone?
That's fine.
I paid the guy. I just don't know where he is.
That's fine. All right. So closing out the offensive side here, moving on, special teams. We re-signed Eddie Pinheiro, the double doink, who didn't miss for us. So killing it. I'm glad that we look like we have a kicker.
We got a kicker.
Yeah. Our boy Martin doesn't have to come and try out, but maybe he will. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of trades, we did trade Blake Cashman to the Texans for a 6th-round pick next year. Pretty dope that we were able to get a draft pick for him. I really hope we're able to get a draft pick for Mims by trading off him. That would be fantastic. I don't really see that coming.
You see the front office is still not off of Mims. Like there's been reports saying that they're.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. It's always a we'll see. I know, but there's reports from legitimate sources saying that people are not fully off of Mims yet. But I'm sure if the right price came along, Mims is going.
A price came along. I think that'd be good to go for them. But we'll see how that goes. Sticking with the defense, though, man. Jordan Whitehead, strong safety, dude. We are ready to go here with him. I'm very happy. He is Jamal Adams. He is the strong safety. He has a great deal. Also backloaded. I'm really excited for that. We also got DJ Reed here, man. DJ Reed, again, the Jets don't care about height. Dude, they legitimately do not care about height. Yeah. DJ Reed, short on the height side, especially for an outside corner, and he's sticking to be an outside corner. I'm excited, dude. He's a dog. I'm excited about DJ Reed and Jordan Whitehead. They are going to change the culture of that defense, along with CJ Mosley and the D-line. Like, imagine when Carl Lawson comes back. Remember him? I think it's going to be pretty nice in there. I do hope we re-sign Gerard Davis. And with Foley Fatukasi and Marcus Smay heading out of town, we definitely have a hole in the interior D-line and in the free safety room. Which brings us to the draft, Alex. Where do you think the Jets are going to go now that we kind of rounded out how it looks with our offense and defense? How do you think that the draft is gonna go. Keep in mind, free agency is not technically over, right? We still have huge players like the Honey Badger, dude. The Honey Badger is still a free agent. Of course, I don't think we're gonna spend for him, but like, there's still some players out here, man. But just as we're sitting here today, with the knowledge about how we spent in free agency, what we're looking for by how we're maneuvering in the trade market, the fact that Joe Douglas has not won a single game, not a single game as a Jets GM against a division opponent. Not one, dude. And now they're getting better, right? As we said, Tyreek Hill in Miami. We got Jameson Crowder and the Bills now, and I'm sure they're going to improve. We got the Patriots re-signing Malcolm Butler, right? They're going for it over there on New England side. Where do you think right now, if you had to guess, how the Jets are going to move with their number 4 and their number 10 pick?
I think defense, man. I think defense is going to be the priority at this point. I think with the way that the offense is panned out, there's not a wide receiver that they're really looking for in the first round. So I wouldn't expect, if there was a top end wide receiver, like a Jerry Jeudy, was a draft or two ago, then yeah, I could see them taking somebody like that.
Jamar Chase, even.
Facts. But that's not this draft. So I'm looking at the defensive side. Safeties have been covered to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, they got Joyner, they got Parks, right? They got Whitehead as
I'm
a
thinking,
strong safety
look,
now.
man, I've come around on the Hamilton talks. I just don't think that's happening.
I'm going to be a little bit more vague with my number 4. I think it's definitely going to be a defensive back. Okay, because I know the Sauce Gardner stuff. I understand, but Kyle Hamilton's also really good.
He's very good.
In my opinion,
you said Gardner. So you're thinking Gardner?
I mean, he's projected to be Cromartie. I personally have reservations about Sauce Gardner. Personally, I keep watching film. I keep looking at everything. I get he didn't let up a touchdown, but when he finally played a good opponent in Alabama, he didn't look too hot. The answer to me saying that is oh my goodness, Nick Saban avoided him because he was scared. Dude, that's what Nick Saban does. He finds your best player and he avoids him. But I just didn't see anything too impressive when he finally played a good team. He likes to bully. Let me just finish on this. He likes to bully players, dude. And I just don't think that he's going to be able to do that. Okay, that's why they projected him to be like Cromartie, because Cromartie used to, bully people with his height. Maybe he could. I'm just not sure about it. That's as sure as everyone else is. I'm more sure about Kyle Hamilton, to be honest with you. Be a ball hawk, free safety. But I know a safety at 4 is high. Like I mean, a la Jamal Adams. I feel you. You're gonna go to Stingley as the other cornerback. I am so out on Stingley, dude. I do not draft injured college English college cornerbacks, injured college anything. I just don't do it. I've learned. I don't think Joe Douglas does either. And I think the number one insight into that is the fact that we didn't sign Trey Smith as a draftee. We needed a guard desperately, and he fell to like the 5th, 6th round, and then he's now a starter for the Chiefs, a beast. And we didn't get him because of his injury history. I don't think we're looking into Stingley at all. My whole thing, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know it's kind of weird, but there's 2 safeties that are even, comparable. There's Hamilton, and there's a kid, slipped my mind his name, the kid from Penn State. And then on the other side, there's Gardner, and then there's Andrew Booth from Clemson. Mm-hmm. Right? Those are the 4 DBs that I personally just like. You know what I mean? I would love to have one of each. We'll see how that goes. But you think that we're gonna go with Hamilton at number 4?
I think if you're talking about backs, like Hamilton's the best technically defensive back that's out there, right? If you're not sold on.
I mean, Hamilton or Gardner?
Gardner. I'm just when I say compare someone to Cromartie, like Cromartie was tall, bro. Like Gardner's being listed at 6'2". Cromartie was like a 6'4" guy. that's towering. That's towering. You don't find that. Corners are usually like
because he used to
5'10" to
bully
6 feet.
people, dude. He bullied people in college. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean the dude was like a track star at playing cornerback, so he could actually keep up with everybody.
I don't trust it, dude. I wonder. I wonder if
this is where Hamilton keeps making more and more sense.
I know he makes perfect sense, bro. It makes perfect sense.
If you defensive back, best defensive back out there. You got.
I wonder if the Jets, if Ekwonu is there, if they go Ekwonu and then get rid of either Font, who's looking for a contract, or Becton, who has extreme upside and would get massive trade value. I wonder if they go that route.
It's so interesting if that happens. Because then you're
Would
not.
you mind if that happened?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't
neither,
mind because
honestly.
because how long is Font going to be here?
We have to extend it.
Yeah.
He's looking for a contract. That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's where it comes down to. Like, it doesn't make sense to. It doesn't make sense to keep Font and not go young, especially if you know you can have a legitimate starting lineman.
Yeah. And honestly, to be honest with you, I would, if you're asking me, gun to my head, what if I'd rather have Ekwonu and trade one of the tackles rather than draft Hamilton? I think I would do it. I think, even though I love Kyle Hamilton, I think I'm his number one fan. I think I'm his number one Jet fan. I really do think so. I'm in group chats. I'm on Twitter. I think I'm literally the number one Kyle Hamilton to Jets fan.
I think.
And
when you
go ahead.
No. I'm gonna go back off. Keep going on your Hunter.
Oh no, I'm just saying I still think I would take Ekwonu and just trade one of the, because I think he's a sure thing and they love him, and just trade one of the tackles. Either shore up the Font thing so you don't have to worry about the extension, or trade Becton for a haul. You don't have to worry about that anymore. I would do one of those two things. I really do think that, because I don't know if I'd want to risk it with the Kyle. Do I really want to put my butt on the line for Kyle Hamilton on this franchise? You know what I mean? The Jamal Adams franchise. And Ekwonu's going to turn out to be good, and now we messed up with the fourth pick, making him one of the highest paid safeties in the league just because we drafted him fourth. I'd be worried.
I think both of them will be good though. I think both. I don't think you'll go wrong with either one. And I'm sorry I said Hunter. I meant Hamilton, because when you're talking about Font and Ekwonu, the situation with Font reminds me of Wayne Hunter, where it's like,
oh my God, throwback.
Yeah, where I think of Wayne Hunter, where, oh look, we have a serviceable right tackle. And the question is, like, do we want to keep him? He's pretty serviceable. He's good. And that's where I'm at with Font. It's like, he's pretty good. He's serviceable. But if you have the chance to upgrade through the draft, get a cheaper player without having to extend them, which they didn't do for Wayne Hunter, by the way, kind of makes sense if you get Ekwonu. Yeah. But I wouldn't be upset with either Ekwonu or Hamilton. Like, they just both make sense. They both make sense for the Jets. It's who do you want to choose, because the other one is not going to be there later. That's the thing.
For sure. I mean, Ekwonu definitely not. Hamilton, I mean, there's a possibility, right? Like Malik Willis, the quarterback. But think about it, dude. He's a safety number one, right? So he's automatically dropping in people's minds. There's at least two offensive linemen, especially if Ekwonu, Neal. There's also talks of Penning. There's a couple other offensive linemen that are looking pretty good, right? There's Sauce Gardner. He's going to be definitely top 10. There's Malik Willis, the quarterback from Liberty. He's getting hype right now. So it's possible that there's 0% chance Ekwonu gets there. I would say there's at least like a 20% possibility that Kyle Hamilton gets to 10. If not, he's going to go not too far away. He's not going to get, if he doesn't go to 4, he's not going to go up until like 7. You know what I mean? It's going to start getting close, in my opinion. Say we get Ekwonu, say Hamilton and Gardner is gone, just for our hypothetical. Okay? We're sitting here. We didn't really address the wide receiver. We got Keelan Cole. So we're basically rolling out with the same wide receivers again, just upgraded to tight end when you take your step back and look at it. What are you doing with that number 10? We have Jets Nation freaking out about wanting to draft a wide receiver, which I think is a terrible idea. And then we have the Jets who are desperate for an edge rusher.
Ooh. No, let's not play the desperate game. Don't play the desperate game.
Are you talking
honestly
for edge rusher or wide receiver? I don't even know who you're referring to at this point.
Both.
Yeah.
We don't need. We've done the whole Vernon Golson thing. That was a desperation draft pick for an edge rusher. Do not draft a wide receiver if you don't believe that they're that guy at that pick. But if I'm choosing a wide receiver at 10, they're starting. They're an impact player. Okay, that's just a fact. They're a Jamar Chase. They are a Jerry Jeudy. Okay. If that's not that guy, do not do it. Trade back.
I'm going to tell you one thing, man. I got a hot take.
Do that.
I got a hot take. I was going through the draft. I was talking to you about it, about how the second edge rusher in the draft is most of the time a bust, plus minus maybe 2 in the last 10 years that weren't. Right. And one of them was Davenport, which questionable. You know what I mean? I really, really, really like Jermaine Johnson from FSU. And I think the Jets really like him too. I firmly believe that if the Jets walk away with Ekwonu and Jermaine Johnson,
that's a good draft.
They'd be the happiest team on earth. I also think that if they ended up with Sauce Gardner and Jermaine Johnson, they'd also be the happiest team on earth. I think that if they ended up with Ekwonu and Hamilton, they'd be just as happy. Like we have saved ourselves for some flexibility here, but for some reason, I could only see it being one of these 4 players. I for these 2 positions, 4 and 10, I just in my brain I cannot, for the life of me, see it being anybody but one of these 4 players for both of those spots. That's where I am right now on March 24th.
That's where John is at on March 24th at 12:10 a.m. Cool.
That's where I am. That one of those 4 players.
You heard it here first.
Any thoughts on that before we head out of here?
Look, man.
Jets Nation, if anyone's watching right now, they're freaking out right now, Alex. Everyone wants a wide receiver. Everyone likes a couple kids out here.
If they're not,
I like Sky Moore, bro. Give me Sky Moore later. Give me Booth later. Give me Jones, the nose tackle from Penn State. Like,
don't force anything. That's the only thing I'll say. Do not force anything with the 10th pick. If you do not like anyone there, trade back. Figure something else. Who's the edge rusher that you said you liked from
Jermaine Johnson from FSU.
Jermaine Johnson.
That's the guy. He had an incredible scouting combine. He had a good year, but I'm not pulling this name out of nowhere. I listen to Damian Woody a lot. He's pretty plugged into what the Jets are doing. He says the Jets love Jermaine Johnson.
They have Jermaine Johnson right now mocked through Tankathon to go to the Baltimore Ravens at 14. So it's not completely out of the realm. If it's
not
that
getting
close,
past 10, bro. I promise you, Jermaine Johnson is not. There's no way the Jets are going to pass him at 10. I can't.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you are saying that the Jets love him, and Damian Woody is saying that this is a guy to look out for,
the 2 guys
that close
is Ekwonu and Jermaine Johnson. Everything else is fairy tale. Everything the Jets love those 2 players more than anyone else. They also like Hamilton and Gardner. But I just hear that Ekwonu and Jermaine Johnson right now are the 2 players that the Jets are absolutely in love with.
All right. Let's see if that happens. Draft is only getting closer. It's only getting closer.
Excited. I smell it. I smell the draft.
John's right back into full optimism mode. Love it.
You'll
love to see it. You'll love to see it.
Let's go. Charlotte just has to lose the next 6 games. Knicks win the next 6 games.
No,
we're on top of the world here.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. All right. On that note, Thank you everyone for tuning in for another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, Etc. podcast. You know what to do. Please make sure to subscribe to this podcast. We're on all audio listening platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. Also, if you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. If you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave a comment. That only helps us out. Helps us out also greatly. We're also on YouTube. Look for Knicks, Jets, etc. Period. No one writes out, etc. That's just wild.
Crazy. Yeah.
Don't be nuts. Don't be nuts. No one's doing that. No one's doing that out here. All right. It's etc. Period. So look for Knicks, Jets, etc. Subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And interact with us. Leave us a comment. Hit that like button when you watch a video. Come on, guys. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know if you got even a different perspective that we're not even thinking of. We want to hear it all. We want just to build this community. Also, while you're over there at that YouTube page, we got another podcast, Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, go down the NFL slate, usually when the NFL is in action. Sometimes they go down the NBA. It could be on TNT, ESPN, NBA TV, ABC, you name it. They will be betting on it. All right. Don't worry. But guess what they are doing right now? College basketball, March Madness. They brought our boy Chip Murphy back on to go through the Sweet 16. Make sure to go check them out. They got the overs, unders. They got the money line. They got the spreads. You want some prop bets? They probably, no, actually, I'm just kidding. They don't got prop bets.
No, they got futures. We got futures today.
There you go. They got
props.
some features. All right. And there you go. So make sure to go check it out and go get their takes because you want to win some money on sports. Why not? Last, certainly not least, we're on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We are there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. We'll catch y'all later this week with JD Sports Talk coming on the pod.
Let's go, Jets, bro.